So we all know the feeling of disappointment. Maybe we had an expectation on someone or something and things didn't quite go as planned, or something happened and it's not what we expected of someone or from a situation. And then what lands is an experience of feeling disappointment. Now, for many people, the first part of that is actually anger. And it's very easy in that feeling of disappointment, because it's a challenging feeling to just sit with, that the initial response can be to point fingers and to blame and, well, you caused me this disappointment. I'm angry at you, or I'm angry at this situation, which is actually a deflection from the disappointment itself. And the disappointment itself is actually ours, and solely ours, because it's our expectation. It's our idea about how it should have gone. It's our idea about who someone should be. Now, someone listening go, yeah, but what if someone told you something and they broke a promise, or that kind of a thing? Well, I get that there's that part in here also. And our attachment then to the agreement, right? Our attachment that it would be the way that it was supposed to happen, or the way that it was said it was supposed to go, then ultimately still brings us back to, right, it's our disappointment. So the question here is, what do we do with our disappointment? Separate from blaming, shaming, getting angry about it out there. And the first is just to acknowledge that we even had an expectation in the first place. Yes, I expected this to happen. Yep, I totally attached to that thought or that idea. Yep, I had everything in my mind set up to be like, that's the way that it was going to go. Or I decided that this person was only this way, and so now I'm shocked that they have behaved differently. Or I've decided that the world is only supposed to be this way, and now I'm disappointed because the world is not doing what I think that the world should be doing. So that's step one, is just recognizing that we had an expectation, right? We had a fantasy, if you will. As I'm saying this, some of you that have studied with me might be recognizing a little bit of the flavor of when I talk about the 4 threats or challenges of the brain. And the 4th one in particular, when I talk about shoulds and unmet expectations. And that's actually exactly what I'm talking about here in this particular video, is what do we do in our own activation when those shoulds and that unmet expectation actually comes true. So again, step 1, acknowledging that it was ours, it was our should, it was our expectation. That's number 1. Step 2 is then learning how to connect with ourselves in the disappointment. It doesn't mean dismiss the feelings. Maybe there is some grief. Maybe there are feelings of frustration or anger or whatever it is, but can we be in relationship with them and not deflect them away from what's happening right here? The third thing is then to begin to look at what are the other possibilities of maybe how things ended up happening. Maybe that there's actually some brilliance in it. And that's where I want to end this particular conversation. So when we stay attached to, but it should have been this way, or they should have been this way, it actually leaves us no room to pivot into a new experience other than, I'm just angry and I'm frustrated and I'm mad and I'm disappointed. But the moment we stop and we go, okay, it happened. That's the reality. The reality is it happened. I'm not going to fight reality, because we know that the dissonance inside happens when we're comparing our fantasy, our expectation, to the reality. So the reality is that it didn't happen, or it didn't happen the way we wanted it to. That's reality. And from this place, and how is this serving me? From this place, what am I getting to learn? What am I getting to experience? What am I getting to tighten up? What am I getting to practice? What am I getting to get clear on? What opportunities is this new way, the way reality is happening? What's the opportunity that's presenting itself from reality? What are the ways that the way that reality has occurred are actually serving me? And I guarantee this. Again, it's not to dismiss or deny that there's been an impact, because that's important to feel and to acknowledge and to connect with. But if we don't then shift from here into, and how do I develop a relationship with reality? And how do I start to see the wisdom in the reality? Then I will stay stuck, and when I will not find a way to move through the disappointment. So that's my little tip for you in this video, is that next time you find yourself feeling incredibly disappointed, just stop, acknowledge that you had an expectation, allow yourself to feel the disappointment and the other feelings that come with it. And then when you're ready to begin to shift out of that, start to ask yourself a new set of questions so that you can orient to the possibility that maybe the way that it did happen also maybe has some wisdom in it for you.